stuff. It's bad for you.
And they call it
But
the
it's in a
Red
ton of
40.
stuff. It's in a ton of stuff like red Gatorade. It's in hot Cheetos. It's in a bunch of different things.
Red Mountain Dew have that.
Probably.
Code Red Mountain Dew, Hot Cheetos. What's the rolled up ones? They're not Hot Cheetos, but they're
Oh,
Takis.
Takis. I don't know.
Those were big when we were in high school.
They still are. It's a synthetic petroleum derived food dye used to add a vibrant red color to processed food, drugs, and cosmetics. It's approved by the FDA, but it's controversial due to the reported risks of allergic reactions, potential hyperactivity in children, and limited studies linking it to DNA damage. Dude, like, so there's just like one ingredient in bug spray. Like, no offense to, like, just no offense. She's a great lady, but she won't let like red Gatorade or red hot because of red 40 because of she thinks it makes him more hyperactive. I'm like, no, he's just that's just the way he is. And then there's this thing in bug spray called like DEET, I think. Let me see. DEET. It's a highly effective active ingredient in insect repellents. Um, but
You know, it'd
like,
be a good stain to use in foods. Beet red, like the Beet Farms beet red. It's a natural dye. It's edible.
yeah,
Beets are kind of healthy. They had certain calciums and vitamins to them.
not so. There's a red 40, so she won't let him have any of that because of all that, which she thinks. And then there's DEET, which is an ingredient in bug sprays, and it's because of this. There are rare reports of seizures, agitation, and uncoordinated movements linked to excessive or improper use that can cause skin rashes, irritation, or damage to eyes if directly sprayed on, obviously. A powerful plasticizer, meaning it can damage, melt, or soften synthetic materials like watch straps, sunglasses, fishing gear. Harmful to aquatic life and toxicity risks can cause severe health issues, including breathing difficulties or death if it's swallowed or misused. But because of that, she gets bug spray that is 100% DEET free, and she won't let him have red 40. Anything with red 40 in it. No blue Gatorade, no hot Cheetos, no like. He buys his own Doritos. I'm pretty sure the nacho cheese Doritos have some red 40 in it.
I'm curious what her take is on sunscreen and like softener for like washing clothes.
She uses like,
Because I
oh,
I've
I don't know
heard
what type of sunscreen that it's. She uses like the spray on stuff.
well, I've heard certain sunscreens have some certain types of sunscreens. Not all of them have harmful shit in them.
I
Same with
mean,
softener. I've
dude,
heard.
like at this point, what doesn't cause cancer according to California?
Well, not cancer, but like certain types of softener. I've heard people from Europe say that their softener has stuff in there that affects testosterone count, which causes men to have low T. I don't know if it's true or not,
Huh?
but I've heard that rumor that softener that you use for your clothes to wash them.
That's weird. Who knew washing your clothes would turn you into a freaking wuss? You
I don't.
just start gaining estrogen by the day if you wash your clothes with certain detergents or something.
I don't know if it. I don't know what low T has effect on the male body. I know it's not good to have a low like your count to be your
Well,
count if it's below a level it's bad,
well,
right?
yeah, but that's mainly when you're like older,
Yeah,
like
65
50,
plus
like
or something.
yeah, like 50s, 60s, like around there.
But like you certainly shouldn't have low T at like our age or whatever.
Oh no, no.
Low T. Get that
Yeah,
tattooed
dude,
on me
all
somewhere.
those like freaking commercials or whatever.
I feel
Yoink.
I feel like getting low T tatted on your body somewhere is the same thing when you see those girls and they have like right they have like in cursive they have like Cadillac in cursive like tattooed on their arm and shit. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 6 of the Respawn Archives. We are back today and only today to record episode 6. Last week we left off on talking about black holes in space. We'll talk about that here in a
Yeah.
little bit. We'll put that towards the end of the episode here.
South Park again. I couldn't let that pass up. I've been watching through South Park again, dude. I'm like I'm at the 7th season, I think, right now.
How many seasons do they have? They have to have quite a bit. It's been going on for quite a while.
Let's see, because they're still releasing more.
South Park was out like when did South Park come out?
97.
97. It's 28. Jeez.
I think it's 97. It's 28 seasons. As of as of September 2025, they finished their 27th season and started the 28th season in October. Insane.
Yeah, you're right.
It's been
August
going for
13th
30 seasons.
of 97. Networks Paramount Plus, Comedy Central, HBO Max. You know the role. They even have their own video game that we know about.
Yeah, they got a couple actually. They think they got like it's the Stick of Truth and there's one that's like Butthole or something.
It's like the magical wand of Butthole, or I don't know.
I know there's like 2 or 3, I think. Oh, there is a couple. Oh yeah, it's the Stick of Truth and the Fractured Butthole. and then they have South Park Snow Day.
IMDb rates it an 8.7 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes rates it a 80% out of
Dude,
probably 100.
I can't trust some of the like Rotten Tomato, like there's so many movies that I've watched and I'm like that's a good movie where Rotten Tomatoes giving it like a crappy score. Like I can't think of any like off the top of my head, but like in the past looking at it, I would go see a movie or like see a trailer or something like that and Rotten Tomato just like rated it in the ground or what. Demon Slayer. The Demon Slayer movie. When that came out, Rotten Tomato rated it horribly and that cleared every single movie in the box office that weekend. And that was an anime movie. And that's what, segue. Avatar, The Last Airbender movie that got leaked.
Work! I knew you'd understand. Well, thanks for the start. I'm out of here.
Did you see about that?
The last movie they made on The Last Airbender?
Not the first movie that the Avatar Studios came out with, Avatar: The Last Airbender or Aang: The Last Airbender or whatever. It hasn't come out yet. It was set to release in October. Paramount hadn't posted a trailer or a teaser or anything for it. This guy on Twitter got emailed the footage. He got emailed a full movie. He leaked a couple clips. Nobody believed he had the full movie. So one day he said, "Screw it," and he leaked the entire movie. It was supposed to come out in October, and Paramount pulled it from theaters last year. It was supposed to come out in theaters last year, and then they delayed it a year and said it was only going to be on Paramount Plus for streaming.
How, did he get any legal charges on that or anything like that? Because isn't that...
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He's
like
going to prison
suing
for
and shit?
he's going for prison for 7 years, and any site that any copyright claim they put against it is $50,000 per place they find it.
That's crazy. I think 7 years is a little much for releasing a movie, but still, I mean, he still needs to go to
Especially when
prison.
you considered it was a Paramount executive that accidentally emailed it to him.
Okay, so did he have evidence to prove that in court? Though I wonder.
I imagine he has the email.
Hey, your exclusive or whatever emailed it to me, so he's kind of the one that leaked it in the first place because he gave it
But
to a random.
also, this is on Paramount because the reason I'm bringing this up is because Demon Slayer is a Japanese made anime. It's done really well here in America, but also overseas in Japan. But Demon Slayer movie came out worldwide and it cleared every other movie that was releasing in the US as an anime movie, but I think Rotten Tomato rated it something like 50 something or something stupidly low. But it cleared everything else in the box office that they were rating good. And the what I don't understand is why Paramount would pull one of the shows that we grew up with as children, and then not to mention everybody in between when Netflix started bringing it out, and then even some of the people our age who have kids showing it to their kid. Like the audience has only grown since it first came out in 2005, and now 20 years later, we get the movie, but we got the movie because it got leaked. I mean, they're still releasing it in October, which I'm gonna watch it again. It's a fantastic movie.
What's it called? One more time.
Aang the Last Airbender. I'm pretty sure that's what the title is.
Gotcha. Because the first movie that came out was called The
Yeah.
Last Airbender,
Oh,
and that
it's the Legend of Aang, the Last Airbender. And if you're talking about the live action movie, that movie was horrible.
yeah, that was in 2010. That had a
That was
3.9 and a
okay. Yeah.
5% from those two, and
No,
that was horrible.
that that
That
one was
burned.
horrible. That one was bad.
I
But
watched
no,
that. It was horrible.
this is the first project from Avatar Studios, which is the two original creators of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series and The Legend of Korra. Fantastic movie. I personally I gave it like a 7 out of 10 because I feel like it could have been better, but it could have been a lot worse. And it's also new. But that movie, the live action movie, was horrible. But the live action show that Netflix is doing with Avatar: The Last Airbender, that one I actually kind of enjoy. I mean, I don't mind it. I think they did a heck of a lot better than whoever made the movie did.
So the one you're
But
talking about is
it's the
the
newest
Legend of
movie.
Aang, The Last Airbender,
Yes,
and that is not a live action. That is a
it's
anime.
animated. It's the first animated show from Avatar Studios, made by the two original creators of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series.
I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. I'm probably going to end up watching that sometime. I haven't watched the Last Airbender series or anything to do with it in years because it's.
Well, I rewatched Avatar: The Last Airbender not that long ago. All three seasons of it, still fantastic. And I watched The Legend of Korra as well. But then I watched the newest movie that came out when it got leaked, because it was everywhere. So I've seen the movie already.
Was it good, or what'd you think of it?
I
Without
I
spoilers.
like no, I liked it. So I'll say this: like, it's cool seeing the original Avatar: The Last Airbender team together again. I will say the movie is definitely a lot more focused on Aang instead of the team as a whole. Like, the team is there throughout the movie, but it's more focused on Aang throughout the whole show. I feel like the writing could have been a little bit better and some of the fight scenes could have been better, but it's their first project in I don't know how many years since The Legend of Korra came out, and it's their first project with a new studio. They're setting it up for other projects that they're going to be releasing next year. Like, this is the first one, so I can understand why it's not amazing. Which I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Like, it was solid for their first project ever, and coming back after 20 years from the original show it was pretty solid, but I wouldn't be anywhere close to giving it like a 10 out of 10. So I'll give it a 7, a solid 7.
Now, does the movie basically run for the same lifespan from beginning to end, like the original series, or is it?
So this is after everything in the original series. So this is in between So you have Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then we had the Legend of Korra.
Right.
Obviously, the Legend
Right.
of Korra happened afterwards. So this is in between, after they defeated the Fire Lord and they've done everything. So this is them as adults now. This is before Aang and Katara have kids or anything like that. This is them as adults.
Interesting. I wonder. I guess I have to. I want to. I can't ask questions because I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't seen it, including myself.
I mean, you can ask questions and I'll be vague with them. I can answer questions, but I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody.
Uh. Okay, I'm just gonna ask a question. Does anybody significant die in that movie?
No,
Is it more of a like beat the villain movie or more of like find who you are movie?
it's a little bit of both. It's like it's a good middle ground, I guess.
I don't like how they spelled Aang. I feel like that's not the right way to spell Aang for the title. They spelled it Aang.
Yeah, that's the correct spelling.
Is it? Have I been lied
Yeah,
to for the last
that's
decade or
the
so?
that's the correct spelling. That's how it was spelled for the original movie too. I mean, the original show and in
Okay.
the comics and stuff.
I kind of I kind of want them to make another remake of The Last Airbender, but live shot with the actors and shit. But I want them to do it like
Have you not
actually
seen
well
the
this
Have you
time.
not seen the Have you not seen the Netflix series? You
What?
need to you need to watch the Netflix series. So
What are you talking about?
Netflix actually did a good one, and it's a live action series that Netflix did of the Avatar: The Last Airbender show. They finished season 1 already. It was good. I liked it. I'll give it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. It's solid. It's a solid series. I
It's
enjoyed it.
there. 2024 Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a lot. How did I not know about this shit? What the fuck? Is this a Netflix original or a third party? Or yeah, it's an
It
original too.
it's
Son of a
I mean, it's
bitch.
and it's actually good is the thing, because sometimes those Netflix originals, it's one or the other. It's either it's really good or it's horrible, and this one was actually pretty good.
This has been out for
I don't
two
know how you
years.
haven't heard of this.
I guess they just didn't advertise it well, or maybe I was
They
just busy with
definitely
other shit.
did.
You know.
They definitely advertised.
It's
It's been out for 2 years.
yeah. That's the big thing. It's only it does look significantly better. If it is, I don't know yet because I haven't seen it, but it does.
It's it's worlds better than what that live action movie was.
Should I be worried that half the actors in that TV series are all Asian?
No, I mean I'm pretty sure the series itself was set in China.
The original anime.
I think it was. Yeah, yeah. So the show itself and the um so like if you look at the Earth Kingdom, it was heavily influenced by like China and the Forbidden City, and then you look at the Fire Nation. It's definitely Asian culture. So Ba Sing Se is basically like Beijing and the Forbidden City. Then you have the Fire Nation, heavily influenced by Japanese history and culture. Then you have the Air Nomads, which was influenced by Tibetan culture and monks, and then the water tribes were more like Inuit and indigenous groups. Both are really good. All the live action series, they definitely did a lot better than what the movie was, and they follow what the original animated show was in the new live action series. Um, Obviously they can't fit everything because I think they only did like 8 episodes per season or something like that, so they're cutting it down a lot. Um, but I think each episode's like 45 minutes or an hour or something like that. And then the newest movie that got leaked, that one, I'm what that is makes me excited for how much better they're gonna get as they go. And uh, all the new series that they're talking about. But I'm when it releases in October, however it releases, I'm gonna go watch it. If it's in theaters, I'm going to go watch it in theaters. If it's on Paramount, I'll watch it on Paramount. But anything I can do to support the, I mean, the studio got paid. If anything, if they don't release it, it's just gonna hurt them on royalties. The voice actors got paid, so it's mainly just hurting Paramount because they hadn't released a trailer or a teaser for it, and it's supposed to be released in October, and you're 6 months out from release and you haven't released anything is kind of crazy after delaying it a whole year from being released in theaters last October.
Do you think
So
they're gonna
Paramount is shooting themselves in the foot, basically.
modify or change anything of that movie slightly
Well,
before they
I
re-release it?
imagine that what we got
Yeah.
wasn't the full polished version because it was leaked 6 months early. So I imagine we didn't get everything, but we got most of everything.
Obviously, anime versus live action anime is always going to be better in this type of scene or this type of complex of the series,
Well,
being because it's a lot of
yeah,
it's fantasy. I
I
think
would
they could make it very
also.
good live action if they put a lot of CGI and they treat it with the same budget they have for something like Marvel or
Well,
Harry
that's
Potter.
harder to do because Marvel has such an insane budget being tied with Disney and the massive success they've had for decades of making movies and TV shows and everything like that. So they're like the tried and true. Whereas Avatar Studios and the Nickelodeon with Avatar, it's only been an entity for 20 years. And Avatar Studios was just made not that long ago too, as its own studio tied with Nickelodeon and Paramount. Yeah, I've heard of Mothman.
Does he have Louisiana or like Missouri or I think Missouri, right?
I don't even
St.
know.
Louis maybe. Guess he was a moth and or either a moth or some type of guy that chemically induced through a chemical plant way back in like the 70s. I want to say I got to do research.
It's from Virginia. It was in the 60s.
Okay, was it a man or is it a moth or like how did he?
It was just the name given to the creature. Point Pleasant, West Virginia, November 15th, 1966 to December 15th, 1967. Original sightings of the creature described avian features, so something that could fly. Uh, a newspaper in November 1966 titled "Couple Sees a Man-Sized Bird Creature Something," and then national press picked it up and started reporting it across the nation.
How did it come about? Was it some guy that fell into like a
Well,
chemical pit like the Joker?
I don't think it's like an actual man, but basically in 1966, November of
It's right.
1966, two young couples, Point Pleasant, Virginia, told police there was a large black creature whose eyes glowed red, standing at the middle, standing at the side of the road near the TNT area, the site of the former World War II munitions plants. Described as a slender, muscular man about 7 feet tall with white wings, but was unable to discern a face
You forgot
due
the
to
most
its
important part.
hypnotic eyes.
Yes, the most important part were the eyes. It had glowing red eyes. It was hung like 6 inches or so, I think. That's a lot,
So
right?
I don't know. More people reported similar sightings after local newspaper covered it. Two volunteer firemen said they saw a large bird with red eyes. And Mason County Sheriff George Johnson believed that the sightings were due to an unusually large, what? Shitty poke? This is a bird? The green heron, but it's spelled Shitepoke. Bro, birds have the weirdest names. We just be throwing whatever together to name a bird.
Kind of like
Con
naming Native Americans, you know.
That's crazy.
You loudmouth.
Nah, contractor Newell Partridge told Johnson that when he aimed a flashlight at the creature in a nearby field, its eyes glowed like bicycle reflectors. Additionally, he blamed buzzing noises from his television set and the disappearance of his German Shepherd, Bandit, on the creature. Uh, Wildlife biologist Robert Smith from West Virginia University told reporters that descriptions and the sighting fit a sandhill crane. Okay. A
I feel
large
like
American crane almost as tall as a man with a 7-foot wingspan and reddish coloring around its eyes, and the bird may have wandered out of its migration route.
we're going like I feel like it started as a cryptic and now we're leaning more towards Batman supervillain, you know, or something like that, you know.
Yeah, you know what's funny is due to the popularity of the Batman TV series at the time, the fictional superhero Batman and his rogue galleries were prominently featured in the public eye, while the villain Killer Moth did not appear in the show. And the comic book influence both had him and Batman is believed to have some influence to the coinage of the name Mothman by the local newspapers. Um,
I think if we were going to grade this right now before our final say, because I like to grade my cryptics, cryptic or not. I think not. I think this is phony. I think this is based off of Batman and some television.
I mean,
Certain cryptics, I believe. This one, I don't know.
I don't, I don't know.
What has you
That
stumped? What has you debating?
But it's not really much debating. It's this extra thing. In December 1967, there was a collapse of the Silver Bridge and the death of 46 people. The incident gave rise to
Hold
the
up.
legend and connected to Mothman sightings to the bridge collapse, which is
Is
like
this an
okay.
actual like thing that was dated in like the news?
No, yeah,
Is this an actual thing that
December.
happened? The bridge
No,
actually collapsed and
December 15th, 1967. The Silver Bridge collapsed and 46 people died.
so that is a real thing. That is dated. That's
That
not
that
phony. That's 100%.
that's no, yeah, it's dated.
Okay, what is the part that might be questionable or saying is
It's
true?
that they're giving the Mothman sightings as a connection to the bridge collapse, which is like
How?
it could have just been poor construction and it's just an old bridge or something like that.
Yeah, or weather or too much weight. I don't know, but like how
It was
I wonder how they're.
built in 1928 that carried over Route 35 over the Ohio River, and it was connecting West Virginia and Ohio. Bridge collapsed amid heavy rush hour traffic, resulting in the death of 46 people, two of them who were never found. I don't know. I don't know how you can blame an old bridge. Like the bridge was like 40 years old at the time, and we all know that construction has gotten a lot better. It was 39 years until it collapsed.
Wait, did you talk about the chasing car incident, or should I say that real quick?
Chasing car incident.
Yeah, so the story behind the Mothman, this is what Google says, so take this with a grain of salt. It says, as legend has it, on November 15th in 1966, four eyewitnesses originally the first ever sighting of Mothman in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Linda Scarberry, Roger Scarberry, Mary Merlet, and Steve Merlet were chased in their car for miles by a 7-foot tall dark figure with glowing red eyes.
See, I didn't get that. I only got the report that it was Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Maletti or whatever it is.
Oh, thanks.
I didn't know they were in a car being chased by it.
The original story was that when I watched they had like a cryptics TV show I watched back in the day. They were reviewing this,
Oh
and they
yeah, I
mentioned
remember
that
those.
they were in a what's this 1966, so it's to be a car around that generation, and they were out driving about, and that was probably pretty common back then. Um, and I guess some Mothman came down and struck them, you know, and scratch the top of their car and they're driving away quick as possible to get away from it. But my thing I can't remember because it's been so long is how the Mothman was created. Because I thought he was created by either a moth or an individual man working at a chemical plant that fell in or something like that to one of the chemical tubs or bats. How those large bats at a water treatment plant. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
like
about? The water treatment plants have the huge circle bats that have an arm that goes around and they like separate the solids or they stir chemicals in there to treat the water and the pH
so.
levels and shit.
Adding a little bit more to what you said,
All right.
with the two couples reported a 7 foot tall gray humanoid creature with 10-foot wingspan and glowing red eyes. All the witnesses described the creature chasing their car at over 100 miles an hour.
Okay, that's a little. I think maybe they were like driving fast as possible and doing like 60, but like 100. Where were they located? Were they located near a grave site or a chemical plant or
No, it was
downtown?
near the old World War II munitions plant, an abandoned TNT munitions plant from World War II,
Okay, so maybe that's where
like
I
World
got
War
my
II
chemical
era.
thing from. It's been such a
No,
long
yeah,
time.
it was from World War II era when all those big companies it's like Ford and all these other companies, they started just mass producing for World War II.
Yeah, a whole bunch of military equipment and vehicles and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that back in the day. And 1966 from 1945, you're talking a difference of 20 years, 22 years
Well,
difference.
like 1940. Well, 1938 is when it like officially started, and then it ended in 1945.
I
So I'm
imagine there's
assuming
still a little
around
bit
like
of
1940, 1941, we started heavy production. So give or take, yeah, probably like 15 to 17 years.
a.
I still don't know how they're trying to link it to this
I think it was
bridge
later at night
collapse.
too. It must have been dark out or something like that.
Yeah,
Still lost in the point they're trying to link it to the bridge. I don't know. Is the Mothman sighted that
it's
day at the
I
bridge
don't
collapsing?
know.
I think I might have heard something like that.
The legend just became deeply linked to the tragic Silver Bridge collapse, leading some to believe the creature was the harbinger of doom.
Oh, kind of like a black raven or a black crow or something like that you see when you see death. Kind of like a bad
Yeah,
omen.
it wasn't anything like you were thinking of though, where it was like some kind of like radioactive thing or whatever.
So the strongest point of where the Mothman was created, 'cause that's where I'm really trying to get down to, is how the Mothman was created. If it was created by radiation, a chemical reaction. Pop culture's biggest thing was the either the bridge disaster they say, or the Batman TV series that you said earlier, which makes
Hmm.
sense. I'm really leaning towards the Batman
Yeah,
TV series,
that
but
would.
the TNT area of the World War II explosive factory, that I don't know how that would play into here. I feel like it would. Any quote on that? Anything you would like to add?
I
Or
I don't know how it would play a role, honestly. Like I said, if you want to go by like a hypothetical and say that Mothman is real, I would go by like, oh, some type of radiation accident or gamma radiation, like a Bruce Banner type incident where some type of mutation, or like
who's
what was
Bruce
it, like
Banner?
the Hulk.
Oh, so you mean like he got into something, he ate something, he got hit up
No,
an
well, I don't
arm or
know
something?
about like the comics or something like that, but there was a movie that came out when we were younger that had him. He was like going out during a test of some weapon or something, and he ended up absorbing a ton of gamma radiation into his body, and it mutated him to be able to become the Hulk.
And that radiation was only activated when he
Gets
got
pissed.
mad.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm thinking of that little skit between Will Ferrell and the lady on SNL tonight when she's like on the phone and she needs help getting off the phone. He's like, "Oh, you need help getting off the phone? I can help you here."
Do you need help getting off the phone? You on the phone again, bitch? You better hang that thing up before I bash your head in.
My God, Paul, what are you doing?
Oh.
No. Please. Okay.
Honey, the police are here. Quick, shove this balloon of heroin up your ass.
You better get off that phone again.
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it in forever.
Fondle on with the Mothman too much longer here, but I'm also a little questioning his shape of what he looks like. Some people are saying more bird-like, but he also has the Mothman name. So is he more moth? Is he more bird? He has wings. He's obviously has the general development of a 7-foot-tall man.
Dude, I don't even know, because here's the thing with like cryptids is some of them are like the skinwalkers. They're linked to like old tales told by different cultures, or something that's been spoken about for a long time that seem a little bit out there, but I would say more believable than what Mothman is.
Did you know that town has a whole bunch of like, and this is kind of where it pulls into a lot of cryptics, so I don't believe them. But they have a sculpture or like a statue of Mothman there, and they have a whole bunch of gift shops and shit like that. So it kind of makes me believe that maybe it's a kind of like with Bigfoot, it's a huge disguise to bring tourist attraction to that city and town to make money and shit like that. You know.
You could say the same thing about Roswell. I think it was Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, didn't we talk about that on a couple episodes ago?
No, I don't think we have. But
We didn't talk about
I'm
that
pretty
episode
sure
on the.
I'm pretty sure it's Roswell, New Mexico, where it was a bunch of UFO sightings and stuff like that, and now it's just a tourist trap of everything about UFOs, aliens, and all that kind of stuff.
We talked about behind the scenes off cam. We talked about the ranch.
Oh yeah, Skinwalker Ranch.
That's another one. Roswell is known for what?
Aliens and UFO sightings, or
sighting.
like just weird stuff.
How big is Roswell? You're talking like is that a city or is that like several hundreds of miles?
It's a smaller. I think it's a smaller city. Let me see. Roswell City, or Roswell, New Mexico. It has a population of 47,000 people. Let me see. Yeah, they've got basically it's in southeastern New Mexico, and it's a renowned site of an alleged UFO crash in 1947, and has the International UFO Museum and Research Center.
That's not sus at all.
It's literally in the middle of the desert. It's in the middle of nowhere.
The laboratory for research of unidentified
flying objects.
Thank you, sir. I knew that. Gotta keep on testing you.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you're qualified for the job. It's all the yearly accounting. Oh, how do I say this? Because I mean, they have a statue and they have a whole like story behind it.
Well, obviously they turned it into like
several
a tourist
sightings.
thing.
So it's probably cryptic, yes. Realistic, no.
No.
It'd be cool to have the Mothman on for a future episode. Oh, yeah, that's a great agreement. We're just interviewing him for a good 30 minutes straight.
Oh my goodness.
I'm interpreting what the Mothman
Mothman would sound like.
Yes, thank you. If you had an interview, what kind of questions would you ask him? Would you use like a Google Translator on your phone?
I think you'd have to. I mean, unless it's like a legitimate like Mothman, then obviously he's gonna speak English. At least I think.
Oh, he can't speak French or something like that.
If it's like an American, if it's like an American thing, like an American cryptid, then I'm assuming English. I mean, yes, we have tons of different languages here, though. You know, I would assume English, though.
Let's be honest. He's from West Virginia. He's probably going to be super racist, really religious, and something about his daughter, you know. I got both my sisters in my family impregnated. What about you? He starts talking about like black moths and white moths. I think there was one more sighting I wanted to talk about with the Mothman, but I can't remember. I think he flew or trapped people inside their house or something like that. Wasn't there? Did you read anything about that earlier, by chance?
Mm-mm.
So I can't remember how the story goes, and it's not here, but I can give you a brief overview of what I once watched about the Mothman several years ago. I believe, shit, what was it? These lady and gentleman and their kid got home from a night out. This is probably back in the 70s or something like that. And they were inside their house. That or was two girls or three girls having a sleepover in a log cabin or something like that. Anyways, and there was a sighting of the Mothman that appeared, that kind of chased him into the house. And then there was a good 5 minutes or so, or 10 minutes or so, where he kind of walked around the house, and they could see like glowing red eyes in some parts of the windows. Keep in mind, it's like later at night, shit like this. So, either or, and they were terrified. They kind of like hid behind their couches and like counters and shit like that. Don't know exactly how it played out, but there was an instance where people claimed to say that the Mothman chased them into their house and circled their house for a good minute, 5 minutes or so, something like that. But I thought that was kind of interesting to point out. That's kind of creepy, but
Uh, Hey, it was probably just some really tall dude breaking in the house, I
wings
guess.
and red eyes.
Hey, you never know. It could have been Halloween.
I was gonna say something there, but wait, Halloween? What?
Could have been Halloween. Could have been October 31st.
Next subject. Let's talk like a minute for each subject. Next subject. Keep it going. Find the flashcards.
I don't know why, but that makes me think of like Chernobyl, like some of the animals from Chernobyl.
I imagine they have quite a bit of cryptics on the animals from Chernobyl, right? I mean,
Not necessarily cryptids, but definitely some animals that have mutation or are just have completely uh have completely grown up with the radiation just in their body.
what?
Do you not remember what Chernobyl is?
No, I remember what Troll is. I watched a documentary on the defects of animals they have around there. It's kind of like, because most people hear defects from radiation as a
They're
negative
thinking
thing.
they're thinking like big mutations, like a two-headed deer or something like that, or
Exactly.
whatever.
But some of their
But it's
mutations is
nothing.
different. It's actually a net positive because it kind of have a higher resistance against
Oh, well,
things, or
yeah,
like
like
a deflection, you know.
there is. I watched a video. There was this one guy. He actually visited last year, and as you know, like with the war with Russia and Ukraine, it's been going on since 2022. Like at least in
Yeah.
that area. So he was one of the last people to actually be able to go and visit Chernobyl and get into the exclusion zone in over 4 years. And he got to visit it, and like there's dogs there that have just lived there so long that like what you were saying is they've developed a not necessarily an immunity, but they've built up a resistance to the radiation over time, and then the puppies that are born have a resistance as well to the radiation. Like it doesn't affect them as much. Yes, it still kills them slowly over time, but it doesn't affect them as it did the when the fallout originally happened.
I was just talking about natural wildlife, bears,
Oh,
deer,
deer,
birds,
yeah. I've seen
squirrels,
some of the
anything like that.
deers and stuff like that.
I think some of the bugs glow. Don't they have some flies or? I'm not talking like, what's those we have around here? The
Lightning bugs?
Yeah, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking like other birds and bugs that glow now because of the radiation, because they're such a small body that
I
the
don't
impact
know
had.
about that. I know, like, early impacts was like the high death rate of the pine forest and various insects. It's like barn swallows. Um, they had deformed beaks and still show deformed beaks, abnormal feather coloring, and tumors. Some of the animals have adapted to the high radiation. Tree frogs in the contaminated areas are usually much darker or almost black due to the increased levels of radiation protective melanin. Um, Studies suggest some wolves and some rodents have developed increased resistance to radiation and cancer, showing what we were talking about, the immune system change and accelerated evolution. Uh, oh, yeah, a black radiotrophic fungus was found inside of the damaged reactor, and it uses melanin in its cells to convert gamma radiation into energy. Um, oh, yeah, there's a rare species of horses that have increased and transformed the zone into a thriving ecological haven despite all of the contaminants. Um, but animals in the higher radiation areas still show signs of impairment, higher rates of cataracts in birds, and smaller brain sizes in some insects and other animals. And certain microorganisms and fungi have mutated to thrive in those high radiation areas, potentially assisting with natural bioremediation of the area, whatever that means. But I think, like, obviously Chernobyl is horrible, but the the evolution of some of the animals and creatures in that area is kind of cool to see.
Um,
Like it's like man can never really outtake nature. Like nature always wins.
well, two things I recognize you said here is the first thing is you said there was a special fungi that was developed in the reactor, and if I remember right, doesn't that
Yeah.
fungi feed off of radiation and kind of lives off of it too? That
Yeah,
special
so
fungi.
it converts the radiation into energy.
That's kind of neat. They can survive on that. And then the other thing is, my question is, I know they have a huge giant fence around Chernobyl to keep out people and keep in whatever, but like it's not a bubble, it's not sealed off completely like a Ziploc bag.
Well,
So how do you keep
so
that from
that's the
spreading to the rest
main
of the planet?
so the main thing is reactor 4. That's the reactor that blew. They have a giant dome around it, but last year Russia hit it with a drone, so it has a giant hole in it. Um, but they're rebuilding the dome. But that's like the main area. Like all the surrounding towns, I think it was like Pripyat. Uh, yeah, yeah, Pripyat, Ukraine. It was founded in 1970 to house the nuclear plant workers, and then following the disaster in 1986, 50,000 residents were evacuated. It's a ghost town within the exclusion zone. And that's like one of the main areas where if you see videos of like buildings and the schoolhouse and stuff like that, that's the main city that people were in.
That that city fed to the reactors as far as like living in like a society near the reactors. That was the closest city. And if you look at it, some of the photos don't they look pretty abandoned, like this up and left and
Oh,
stuff like that?
dude, yeah, it's like it's stuck in that time. Like the that city is basically frozen in 1986 Soviet Union era.
Is that when the meltdown happened? Was it 86? I thought it was older than that.
Yeah, no,
I thought,
1986.
I thought it was
April
78 or
26th,
something.
April 26th, 1986.
Man, that's not that far away then. That's a lot newer than I thought. That's not that old then, as far as
That's
like.
40 years ago.
Yeah, but 40 years in the prospect of how uranium and radioactive shit ages and goes
Well,
away, that's not a lot of time. That's
yeah,
very short.
no, because I'm pretty sure. Because the if I don't know if you know this, but the thing the like there's a big chunk of radioactive waste inside it, and they call it the elephant's foot. It's known as one of the most radioactive things on Earth.
Wasn't there, you said just Terminal 4 or Reactor 4 had a
It
meltdown,
was
but
reactor 4.
didn't they all get damaged though? Wasn't there issues and damage to all of them when that Terminal 4 went? It affected
Do you want to take an idea of how long it's going to take for the elephant's foot to finally decay?
a million years probably or something like that. It's gonna be a long ass
Nah,
time.
100,000 years.
That's still, I mean, 100,000 years. That's
When you consider like some of the stuff that we use for like nuclear power plants and stuff like that we store in that one mountain in Nevada, like that stuff takes like 100 to 1,000 years to decay. But yeah, I don't think any of the other reactors were affected.
I'm gonna look up the generation on that. 100,000 divided by 100. That is 1,000 generations of kids, grandchildren, kids, grandchildren. 1,000 generations of like my family, your family, or your guys' family. That's insane.
Yeah. So basically, after the reactor 4 blew up in 1986, the remaining Chernobyl reactors were shut down in stages. So Unit 2,
That's a little scary to think about. Also,
yeah,
think about how
Unit,
long between the meltdown, the first major disaster, and the bubble building and the fence and moving people out of
well,
there and cleaning up.
they started building the dome like right after it happened. Like there is tons of people that died from radiation and cancer due to that. But here's the even crazier thing. 1986, the reactor 4 goes. Not till 1991 is Unit 2 shut down, so 5 years later, but that was due to a turbine fire. Unit 1 was 10 years later shut down in November of 1996, and the final operational reactor, Unit 3, was shut down just 26 years ago in December of 2000.
Because of why? It's not up to clearance and safety.
It's just ceased all power generation on December 15th, 2000, and moved along with the long-term decommissioning of it.
I don't
Unit
know.
5 and 6 construction, so they did have two more that were getting built, but they were halted indefinitely after the reactor blew in 1986.
I don't know what's more sad. The men and women that went in there to clean up that issue, to clean up the mess right after the reaction happened. A lot of those, even though those men and women that went in there to clean up that issue after it happened, and they were wearing contamination suits and all this gear to protect them, they still got radiation poisoning really badly. They died shortly after a lot of those people did. So that's pretty sad. The other thing
So
is,
if
it's also sad that how long was it after the radiation meltdown that they told the rest of the world, hey, we had a fucking issue? Because there was a good gap of time where Russia thought, hey, we don't have to tell anybody about this. We'll keep it quiet. And then the rest of the world found out about it because there's this huge hole in the ozone. And then there's, this huge cloud of, what do you call it, like a radiation storm that circled around the fucking globe, the whole planet. And then we were getting tests of radiation here in the United States, which led to trying to figure out if we had an issue, which turns out we didn't have an issue. It was actually just circle the fucking planet. That's also sad. But
it happened on April 26th, 1986. Obviously, the Soviet Union tried to cover it up, even though the residents of Pripyat were exposed. And 2 days later, on April 28th, 1986, technicians at the Forsmark nuclear power plant in Sweden noticed elevated levels of radioactivity on their clothing, which was initially feared to be formed from their own plant. After realizing the source was external, they traced it to the fallout in the Soviet Union. And U.S. interesting news that I was relatively interested in was when they were launching and landing the Artemis 2. That was about it.
Did we talk about the landing last week on episode 5?
Yeah, we did. We talked about Artemis 2 last week.
Landing was successful. They landed in
they splashed down
Pacific.
in the they landed down in the Pacific off the coast of California.
That was interesting how they had to let him sit there for a couple hours before retrieving him from the craft.
Well, they had to go get their location where they were coming down, and then they went out to them.
Well, I'm
You
talking
can't
about.
just be sitting out in the wide open.
Well, I'm talking about like even when they got there, they had not battle. Maybe they had battleships, but they had bigger ships and boats there. And I'm talking about before they released the pressure to open the door, and let them out, and stuff like that. They had to like.
Oh, it was
They
like
had to
them getting
keep-
used to it again.
Yeah, the gravitational pull and shit like that. Guys, well, that's been episode 6. We've talked about the Moth Man. We talked about Chernobyl. We've talked about your mom. We've talked about your mom. What else did we talk about?
It was mainly just Mothman and Chernobyl.
Yeah,
we
but
had
we
a couple.
we
We had a
started
little
out
bit
with
at the beginning, like a food coloring
Crazy
and stuff
Man.
like that. It's just some weird stuff.
anything you want to add before we cut off here?
Nope, all good.
Well, you guys, thank you for watching episode 6 of the Respawn Archives. This has been your host, Patrick, and your co-host, Will. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below for future episodes of things you'd like us to talk about or things you're concerned about. And we do have a Spotify, so check out our episodes over there if you're on the go, whether you're driving or you're out in public and you just can't watch YouTube. And eventually we will have shorts. I'll continue to say that for the next year, and eventually they'll come out. But I think that is pretty much it, right?
Yep.
Alrighty, guys. Peace.